Hey teenagers, I just want to get on here and share a couple of quick thoughts with you. We're not going to be able to have our youth service tonight. Pastor will have a live stream of the church service for everybody, and we're not going to be able to meet. And so I want to get on here and just give you a couple of quick thoughts from the book of 1 John. 1 John 4:7-9 says, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. And this was manifested, the love of God toward us, because that God sent his only begotten Son into the world that we might live through him. Kind of continuing on with our thought of love and a love from God and how that shows through in our life. And what does that love look like? How do we show that love right? And we've been looking at several ways the last couple weeks, and specifically we've been looking the last couple weeks at finding the right kind of person for a spouse, the right kind of husband, the right kind of wife. And how do you find that? How do you know that there's a love of God there? How does that build? And something that you know lasts and is not just fleeting, because it's built on a love from God, not a love that the world offers or a love that Satan has brought in as a counterfeit to what God has. And so we've been looking at those things, and I want to continue on that with the love of God, but maybe bring it down to how does that look right now? We're in the middle of this coronavirus pandemic, and we're confined, we're quarantined, if you will. Schools are shut down. Churches, we're doing live stream. We're not able to meet together. Schools are closed. Restaurants are closed. Stores are closed. You're not able to get out. So how does that show through today? And a lot of times we think of that love of God, and we might think of it as in that love between a husband and wife, or that love of Christian brothers and sisters, or that love for the lost and in reaching out. And the love of Christ comes through in all of those areas. That love from God is something that should show in every one of those relationships. But I think he teaches us that first, and he puts us in a home where that love of God is there, should be evidence, where we learn how to love those around us closest, so that then we can reach out to the lost. Then we can love our Christian family. Then we can love that husband or wife when it comes time in your life to have that husband or wife. And so I want to just bring it down a little bit to today. How does this love of God show through today while we're in the middle of this pandemic with coronavirus, and how should that come out in our lives today? So that first verse I read in 1 John 4:7, Beloved, let us love one another. And we see there that is a love that we should have one another in all those relationships that I mentioned, but right now specifically in that relationship with your home. For love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. I think we need to have that love there in our home, and right there that it should show forth. And how do we get that? How do we have that love? We looked at that first thing there. It says, love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God. And we talked about this before. That love from God comes through that relationship that we have with God, that I ask Jesus Christ in my heart. That is when God gives me that love and allows me to share that with others. And so salvation is the first step in that. And if you're not sure about your salvation, give me a call. Let me know. Let's talk about it and get that settled. And so that salvation is the first step. But then I look at that, everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. That word knoweth there is not just, hey, I know who God is. I was just reading in my Bible the other day, and I was reading about the devils believe and tremble. But that's not, it's not just about knowing who God is. It's knoweth God. And that is a daily thing, that I have to spend that time building that relationship with God to know him, that relationship that's drawing me closer to him. That's where I'm receiving that store of love that I can then give out to others. Here's the thing. We're in this quarantine almost, if you will. We're in this pandemic. It's hard to get out. You can't go to school. You can't go to church. You can't go to hang out at a restaurant or hang out at the mall. Stores are closed down. You're not able to go hang out with your friends. You're kind of in a closed, confined space with your family. And it really doesn't seem to matter who it is that you're around. When you're around them a whole lot, it just brings up times for there to be some discontent, or times for there to be some aggravation, just being around someone all the time. And I know that's true even in a family. I was raised with 8 brothers and sisters, And I can give you a list a mile long on each one of them of all the times they irritated me. They could probably give you a list of times that I irritated them. Probably be one or two things because I don't irritate very much. Here's the thing. Anyone you're around a lot, there's going to be times for irritation to be there. And how do you deal with that? And how can you show that love of God that you're supposed to show? That if you're going to show it to anyone, and why we need to show it to the lost, and we need to show it to our Christian brothers and sisters, it should be shown in a home, and that should be a good example of the love of God. How do we do that? I think of that verse there, and knowing God. And can I tell you, I know that you're at home, and I don't got to get up early for school. I don't got to get up early to go in for this or that. It's easy to just sleep in, to take your time. Hey, I'll get up whenever I get up, and I'm going to relax, and I've got no pressure. I can do whatever I want to do. Let me encourage you, take time to spend with the Lord. Take time to get up and read your Bible and pray. Hey, maybe that's leaving your alarm set for the same time. So I'm still getting up in the morning. I'm getting up. I'm reading my Bible. I'm praying. Then maybe I'm relaxing and I'm taking it easy. Or, hey, maybe you're sleeping in a little late. But you say, hey, right off the bat, as soon as I get up, I'm not taking away from my time with God. I'm going to make sure that I get up in time to still spend time with God. Maybe it's like, well, I don't really have to be up until Mom says, hey, it's breakfast time. Well, okay, if Mom's getting breakfast ready at this time, I'm going to get up earlier so I can spend time in my Bible. Do not give up on that. Hey, I'm at home. I don't have to worry about anything. No, I still have to build that relationship with God so that I can have that love for God. Otherwise, it's going to show up in those irritations and that aggravation with those around me. And I don't want that to be. I want to spend time with God. Still spend time in prayer, asking God to help you, asking God to show you what He wants you to do. Hey, there are still opportunities to reach the lost. It's different. We're not going out on Wednesday afternoon and knocking on doors like usual. But hey, there's opportunities. Asking God to show us that. Maybe some of you are taking part in making the masks for the first responders. And we're going to give those out with some tracts and stuff like that. There's an opportunity. How did that come about? Miss Hannah was praying, God, how are we going to do this? How are we going to reach out to people? And she saw something on that. And so she knew she could do that. Find things. As you ask God, God, show me, how can I show your love to someone? God can bring about things. And we still need to have a focus on reaching out to those. But we still need that love right there in the home. And Lord, I'm with my brother or sister a lot more than lately. And they're getting on my nerves and I'm getting aggravated. God, help me to show the love of God. It's something that you're going to have to work on. Something that you're going to have to look for. And you know what? As I spend time with God, as I spend time knowing Him, and I open up my Bible daily, and I'm in there reading, and I'm going to Him in prayer, and I'm building my relationship with Him, those irritations and those aggravations by those around me seem to come down a little, seem to drop a little. Hey, why? Because I can now show that love of God. When I think of all the things He forgave me for, that irritating thing that my sister does, or that my brother does, or that maybe even my parents do, hey, I see them in a new light because I have the love of God. And you'll spend that time with Him. And then look for a way to show that love of God. Ask God, God, show me some way that I can show your love to those around me. Hey, maybe that comes about with your brothers or sisters, just helping them out with something. Maybe they're there and they're trying to figure something out. Maybe they've got some schooling work that they're trying to do. And just by virtue of you being there and you have the answers and you can help them, maybe showing them, hey, here's how you solve that problem. Here's how you do that. Maybe it's some job they're doing. Maybe you're around the house and Mom and Dad gave you some extra chores because everybody's there and trying to keep you busy. Hey, maybe it's reaching out and helping them a little and looking and saying, here's something I can do for you. Here's something that I can spend some time doing to show the love of God. Maybe it's just in being forgiving. As I said, I know there's a time when you're around and there's irritations and aggravations that can arise from that. Look for a way to be forgiving. And you know, then even ask God, God, help me to forgive. And then as you do that, say, God, I'm doing this because I love you. And I want to love you more and I want to know you more. And look for ways to be forgiving. And look for ways to show the love of God to your parents. Maybe that's in helping with something. Maybe dishes are getting piled up in the sink. You're going and eating more because you're home or you're getting a treat or you're doing this. Maybe those dishes are piling up. Maybe, hey, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do those dishes for Mom. Maybe it's in, hey, I'm going to make a cup of coffee for Dad or Mom. Or I'm going to help them with this. Or here's a job that they've got going on. And typically while I'm at school, Mom does the laundry. But you know what? I'm going to help her out. I'm going to take my clothes and I'm going to put them in the wash. Or I'm going to fold. Or some laundry, or I'm going to do something to find a way to show the love of God. And can I tell you this? If you'll get up and spend your time in the Bible, and you will know God, and you'll ask God, God, show me a way to show your love to those around me. Lord, I'm in a smaller group. I'm confined here. We're around each other a lot. There's a lot of time for aggravation and irritation. Lord, there's time for me to just sit back and just relax and say, man, I don't have to worry about anything. I can take it easy. But Lord, help me not to just set all of that aside. Help me to look for a way that I can show your love today, while I'm here, while I'm at the house, while I'm going about the things of today. Help me to show your love. I can't go out and knock on the door and show your love to the lost. But Lord, I can show love where I'm at. And look for a way to do that. I love you guys. I'm praying for you. Can't wait till we can get together again. But until we can, make sure you're spending time, you know God, and you're showing his love to others. I'll see you all soon.